Welcome to Stars Podcast. Through self-defense, mixed martial arts, nutrition, family, and all things in between, we share our journey of how we hack our mind and body to get the maximum return out of each day. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the journey. Welcome back to Stars Podcast, your growth mindset mecca. This is your host, Ron Jordan, coming at you from Rocinante Studios in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. This episode is brought to you by Valor Personal Defense Group. Self-defense is a perishable skill. Only through continuous and consistent training will one be able to effectively employ a skill set that they have learned. Valor Personal Defense Group system is designed to offer constant, consistent, and affordable training to all individuals wanting to learn and stay sharp. We keep our firearms courses affordable to facilitate our continuous training philosophy. Now listeners of Stars Podcast get 15% off firearms courses with coupon code STARS21, which can be booked at valorcombatacademy.com. All right, guys, welcome back. This is Ron Jordan over at Stars Podcast, coming out of Rocinante Studios in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Today, we have a special guest on today, and I met him maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And
something like that.
He's a student, he's an NFT artist, he's a Twitch streamer, he's a Discord moderator, and most recently, a lucky winner of the Gary Vaynerchuk Veefriend's Gift Goat from the G.O.O Collection, and Gary originally owned. Nick Corso, welcome to the show, brother.
How's it going? How's it going?
Fantastic. So let's just jump right out of the gate. Gift Goat. I mean, it's the ultimate. It seems to be like the thing everybody's talking about.
Yeah, it's like the thing everybody dreams about, you know? Like it's like, man, if I had money, like I'd have a gift goat. Like that's one of those things. Like, yeah, there's the courtside, what is it? I don't remember the name of it. But there's a whole bunch of other ones that, you know, are more expensive, but people value the gift goat higher because I think it's pretty special.
It's the one thing that people can wrap their head around because it gives you a physical good.
Sure.
And I think that's what people can really, it almost like from a practical standpoint of what the hell is an NFT, they understand gifts. They understand getting subscription boxes. Everybody has been getting those in some form or fashion, whether it's from Loot Crate or some other fitness packages, things like that. Like people can get that part of it. And I think that's why it's been such a hot one. What do you think?
I agree, because this is kind of like the one Veefriend that you don't like, even if you don't go to the conferences, like you're still getting your money's worth. And that's a thing that a lot of people think about, because some people don't want to go to the conferences for whatever reason. And like, this is like the perfect one for them if they wanted to still be part of Veefriends.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, some of my listeners may not be hip to what an NFT is or Veefriends. NFTs are non-fungible tokens, and Veefriends is Gary Vaynerchuk. He is a entrepreneur on so many different levels, but he has come out with a project of an NFT, and he's the first ever to come out with a utility side of the NFT. And what that means is there's some level of access to him through that NFT. Think of a movie theater ticket, and you're going to see the very first Star Wars before Star Wars got big, and then you kept that ticket stub. Well, now that ticket stub is digital, and now it's a collectible. So that's really how I frame what the NFT is, and the utility behind it is, yeah, NFT is artwork, but the utility side of it is really where we see this becoming more of a macroeconomical standpoint and an asset versus just a piece of art. Even though art is an asset as well, it's an investment opportunity and the like. But I mean, what do you describe an NFT as to your buddies or somebody who asks you? What's your 10-second or 1-minute speech about NFTs?
So the way I explain it to anybody is like, so these are regular collectibles. NFTs are the same things online. And the best part about it is it's just like, it's kind of like portable in a sense, because you can have your MetaMask on your phone. There's different apps where you can show your NFTs. You can pull up your OpenSea and you could show it. It's like on the go. Like you have it virtually everywhere where you are. So that's the way I think of it. It's just like just a collectible to me,
Yeah.
and if it has a utility side, like that's even better for sure.
Yeah, and I keep drawing parallels to the in real life
Hmm.
versions. So whenever we talk about MetaMask and those virtual wallets, think about the times where you pulled out your wallet and showed a picture of your kids, or you showed a picture of somebody from your wallet. Those are your NFTs. That's going to be some of what we're going to talk about today. But you're also a Twitch streamer
Yep.
in the in a big way, honestly. Like I watched you, and very talented in Rocket League. How long have you been doing Rocket League?
I mean, I've had the game since 2016, like late 2016, but I really started playing it in like 2019, like late 2019. So I've been playing it for like a year and a half, like seriously.
Now, do you watch a lot of Twitch streamers, or are you just more on the creation side?
I love watching Twitch streamers. I have a couple people I watch all like when they're live, like I get happy. You know, it's like, oh yes, I can finally watch them. And then there's just some people that I watch when I'm bored, and not that they're bad streamer. It's just because it's something to watch, and they're so I like watching Twitch. I think Twitch is like an amazing platform for people to just show their talents.
And it seems like it's underrated, honestly. There, whenever I look at some of the talent that is on Twitch from the gaming aspect, and then I look at their views, and I'm like, how do they not have millions upon millions of views? And then I talk to people who are not from the gaming world about Twitch, and they don't even know what it is,
Yeah,
which to
yeah,
me is insane.
it is.
I mean, it's YouTube, but way better.
Hmm. Live, you get to talk to the person. Like there are YouTubers who do stream as well, and like I'd rather watch them stream than watch their YouTube video because you can actually interact with them. Now, if they have like 20,000 viewers, it's a little harder, but you know, you still get their live reaction to what the chat is saying. So if you're joining in on a copy pasta, he's gonna the chats or he's gonna see it and he's gonna like be like, yeah, I see that. He recognizes it, and it's just like he can recognize us, and it's awesome because like you get to interact with them. Is the best part.
Yeah, and that's the deeper level of it too, is the interaction piece. And I think that's something that is underutilized in a lot of media today. Is it's, yeah, we put this out there in a movie production or whatever, but there's no interaction other than what are ticket sales,
Hmm.
or going to the red carpet and maybe getting a glimpse of this person. But you actually get to like job shadow them almost and be a part of that process. How is that from a creation standpoint? Because you stream.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on Twitch now, and where you would like to see it become?
Well, I think a lot of people can learn from people playing. Like you were saying, you can learn how to stream. That's how I learned. I watched people, and I even his name was Atlas. I messaged him and asked him about like streaming, and he gave me the rundown. Like I'd say like 90% of streamers, like they'll help you out. Like everybody's there, everybody's friendly. It's a big family. There are some beefs with people, but like for the most part, you can get the help you need from anybody. And then you can also watch people who are 10 times better than you at the game. And you might think you're amazing. There's people that are insane at these games. Like people think I'm good at Rocket League, and then you can watch a pro and it's just like a whole different level. So I think the best part about Twitch is just how much learning you can experience. Learn experience. There's a lot of learning to be done on Twitch for anybody.
Hmm. And you said that you would reach out to them, other streamers or whatever, and the reception has been one of helpfulness and
Hmm.
community based, and it's almost like people gravitate towards platforms that feed their inner ambition. And it seems like Twitch is one of those that, if you like to interact with people and you like to educate and you like to kind of have that personal touch,
Hmm.
you do Twitch.
Exactly, because there's a huge community aspect. Like I love everybody who comes to my streams. Like even if you're new, like it's awesome. It's a great community, and like in every community that I watch, there's a whole bunch of friendly people, just amazing people in general. And that's what, at least for Twitch for me, that's what it's all about. Like making that family almost.
Yeah, absolutely. I gone onto your stream. We didn't know each other whatsoever, and
Mhm.
you immediately you recognized me when I come in. You appreciated me giving you a follow, and like from there, I was like, dude, I'm a fan of Corso. Like that's but you laugh, but that's something that not everybody can do.
It's true.
Like not everybody is out there to be a community member. A lot of people are out there to say, look at me, outside validation,
Hmm.
and you took that in a different direction, and that's what made me appreciate you just in general. And then like just interacting with you on the Discord where you're a moderator, and that's where I'm going to dovetail into, like, what made you become a moderator?
Well, so long story short, I've been moderating for a football player named Chris Conley. He's on the Texans now. He streams on Twitch. I've been moderating for him since he started streaming again, pretty much this past like March, or not this past March, but the last year's March. And so I had experience with the moderating there, and I also made his whole Discord server, managed it all for him. I still do. Um, but besides that, I've had a lot of. I've been on Discord since it came out. Pretty much, I still have my server from back when Discord came out, and I've just had a ton of experience with Discord. I'm not trying to toot my horn. It's just 6 years is experience, like whether you use it all or not. But and and then I saw, I think it was Zane or someone said something in general chat how they were looking for moderators. I think it was 5'2", maybe 5'3", and I joined 429. And I didn't really, if I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what the project was. I knew it was an NFT project. Like I had no idea how awesome it was. And I saw they're needing moderators, and they're looking for people with Discord experience and people who know how to use bots. I was like, yeah, I know how to do that. So it fits my resume in quotes. So I shot Zane a message. We talked for 30 minutes, and now we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me backtrack just a hair. When you say you have 6 years experience, I mean, that's pretty significant in any avenue, like any
Sure.
job that you get. 6 years is a long time. And I'm sure that you spent a ton of those hours inside of that platform, and you're from the beginning. Where, where did you get that knowledge from?
Of Discord.
Yeah, like even at the very, very beginning, just starting out.
So I honestly, I don't even. It might have been like 5 years ago, but
Whatever.
regardless,
Yeah.
yeah. Whenever it came out, I used to use Skype when I used to play games because I had a computer at the time, and then I think one of my buddies was like, "Yeah, there's this thing called Discord." So we got it, we figured it out. Over time, you kind of just get the hang of it. You learn some things. I probably looked up. I've definitely looked up videos on how to use certain bots. I've read into bots, and I don't know. It's just when I made my first server, I just tried to make it as best as possible. And there weren't all these bots at the time, but over time, when bots came out, I would add them
Mm-hmm.
and just try to make it interactive. Now that community is like dead now, but it doesn't matter. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
still one of the first servers, I'm sure.
yeah, you can just look back on it and say, man, look how far I've come. The bots in general, what are some things that the bots can do just on a high level?
Actually, so we have Carlbot that's in the Veefriend's Discord. I've personally never used that until now. I've been on the servers with it, but Carlbot, if you see in general, it always posts a message every. I think it's like 15 minutes. I don't know what kind of timer it's on, but that bot can also block links from being posted, because you can't stop that with the server settings itself, the channel settings. You actually have to have something else stop it. So we have Carlbot to stop links from coming in. They have a lot of interactive features. There's more security ones. Like there's ones that if someone joins the server called Gary V, it'll flag us, or if they have Gary in their name, like it flags us and lets us know. Um, and I don't think that's confidential. It shouldn't be. If someone's joining as Gary V, you know,
Yeah,
you're trying to impersonate him. So
right.
we have that safety precaution because a lot of people have, and a lot of people have been scammed. Not a lot of people, but some people have been scammed by whether it's a Gary V impersonation or just one of the scam bots. So I think there probably is a bot that we can use to detect if it's a bot joining, like, or like
Yeah.
a scam bot. And but bots. There's also music bots that you can use, utility bots. So there's like bots you can literally play games with in a channel. Like it's very cool. Like there's a lot of features
That
that
is
bots
cool.
have.
So the bots are there not in place of moderators, but in addition to moderators to sort of alleviate some of the mundane tasks that you would have to do as a moderator, and it automates those. Is that accurate?
Yeah, pretty much. And like the post in a message every now and then, it's a bot, so like they know like, okay, I could trust this because they wouldn't, they wouldn't set it up if it was fake, like if I shouldn't be listening to it. So I think that's another thing that is cool about them. Which I mean, they should trust moderators as well, but you see a bot saying something, that's programmed to say that.
Yeah, it was definitely for sure. I mean, do you enjoy the moderator portion of that, or what do you enjoy the most about the Discord channels in general? Just not so much just the Gary V one, but just Discord in general. What brings you to it?
Oh, it's so much easier to communicate with people. You can in the text form, you can talk to people in DMs in your server, and then on a bigger scale, you can be in a voice channel with them. Like when I'm ever playing like Rocket League with someone, I'm in a Discord call with them so we can talk. When I used to play with my team, we would always be in a Discord call or in a server. And it's just like the easiest way to communicate. Like it's kind of like the Xbox party of PC, but it's so much better.
Yeah, and that's so I got turned on Discord by my daughter. She's the one who would be on the Discord because I was like, "Why are you FaceTiming your friends the whole time you're playing games?" And they're like, "Well, because they don't have a headset or something." And then they evolved into Discord and they were doing voice chats and all of that. So I'm like, "What is Discord?" And this was maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago. And that was my introduction to it. And it is a very efficient way to communicate in real time while you're doing something, and especially playing video games.
Yeah, there's no delay on the audio. When you're talking, they hear it right away, unless it's something on their end. But like it's real time. It's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And then I want to dive into what's behind you there, the Squirtle. I need to understand the story behind why you love Squirtle.
It's just always been my favorite starter. I had like a little Beanie Baby when I was younger of a Squirtle, so like that kind of just engraved it in me. Like I love this guy. So like
Yeah,
I have a Squirtle card on my desk. I have a little figurine on my desk as well. Like I have it. I try to collect it all. I have someone who's going to be selling me some more Squirtle cards. I have this one just came in the mail today, so, or not today, like 2 days ago. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just love Squirtle. So
And you love
I
Pokemon in general?
yeah. I think that light, no, the light's kind of in the way, but those are all tins of Pokemon Elite
Hmm.
Trainer boxes. Like I try to open everything. It's hard for me to keep stuff sealed because I love the addiction.
Yeah,
It's hard to get out of, but I can control myself enough. Like I haven't opened in like a week, so you know.
gotcha. Openers Anonymous over here.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of things going on,
Hmm.
and you're also a full-time student
Yep.
as
I
well.
just yep. I just finished Monday. So
Yeah. So like I see a lot of qualities in you that are very high level, goal oriented, and sort of this do it yourselfer, trying to figure things out, setting goals for yourself. Has that always been something that you've done, or is that a recent revelation? What do you attribute that to?
well, that's a good question. I don't really know because I know goal chasing is a great thing, and that's kind of something that I guess I could say I lacked in high school when I was playing soccer, because my junior year I was on varsity, but I didn't start because for I don't know. Like a lot of players said I was better. I'm not going to say I was than the person starting over me,
Mhm.
but like I definitely like if I just put in more work at home, like I definitely could have done that. So like from there, I was just like if I want something to happen, like I got to actually like put in the work for it. So it kind of just made me realize, like, if I want something done, just do it. Like there's nothing stopping me.
That's interesting that something it was almost like a chip on your shoulder type of deal
Yeah,
that
it's still on my shoulder. It's always going to be there.
yeah, and that's not a bad thing in my
Sure.
experience. It's not a bad thing if you put it to good use, and it seems like
Hmm.
you are. So putting in those hours of effort, you find value in that now.
Yeah, I love I love working in general. Like, so I didn't play my soccer my senior year because I mean I didn't like the environment anyways. But after not being able to like not playing that season, I was just like, like I can do something better. So I got a job, and that was like my first like actual traditional job, which is crazy. I refereed soccer for a bit, but that wasn't really. It was just like a seasonal type thing.
Hmm.
So I actually got like a decent, it was like a 12 an hour. I did door to door sales. So it was like not something 18-year-olds do. And it was interesting. I like, some people don't like people who knock on their doors, but there's some good conversations with random people that, I mean, I'll probably never see again, but whether I set up an appointment for them or not, like I still had amazing talks, and it's very cool to really get out there. Cause I used to be shy when I was younger. I wouldn't talk to strangers,
Yeah.
but and that was still up until pretty recently. Like I never really talked to someone I didn't know, but like with this job, like it kind of like filled in that patch for me in my resume. Like, yeah, I could talk to that. I mean, I could talk to anyone, and it's kind of an awesome thing to have now because I can just go up to someone and just talk to them. I used to be scared to do that.
Yeah, I always tell people whenever they're looking for jobs as just as a younger person what they should do, and I say if you can interact with the public on some level where you have to actually talk and solve problems and things like that, retail is a fantastic job for people that are just starting to learn, because just like you said, none of us. I don't want to say none of us, but very few of us are born with the God-given talent to just go up and talk to somebody or to
Yep.
ask a question or to say I don't know. Not that's just not something that I have found that's just in you. You have to do it over and over and over again before it becomes comfortable enough that you
Hmm.
can just do it, like you're saying now. Where that job, did you have success at it? Doing
Yeah,
any?
I actually had pretty good success. I tied one of the office records for booking the most. So we book appointments, and then they have to demo for us to get commission. But I booked the most in one day, which is I tied the most, which was 6. So it was pretty good. The window, it was a Windows company. It's a like I like the windows are great, but like they are pricey. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of them, Renewal by Anderson, but they
Yep.
got pricey windows. But they're really good quality. I'm not saying that because I worked there, or that my dad worked there, but it's I liked the product, and I thought I can convince people to want it
Yeah, and
too.
that is also something that, because I'm a salesman by trade, is if you don't believe in the product,
Hmm.
like people smell the BS a mile away.
Sure.
I mean, it's just so clear when you don't actually believe in something, you'll stutter over your words, you'll try and tell a truth, but then you'll backtrack on it in the next sentence. Like there's a lot of cues that are like, nah, get out of my driveway. Like this isn't
Exactly.
good. So let me ask you, what coming out of that job, what was the next step for you? Like, did you go right into school then?
So
College?
I ended up quitting right before everybody got laid off, which was kind of dumb, but I you know I I quit because we had this one boss named Dylan, and he is an amazing dude, and like he was lenient but not too lenient where like you could slack off, right? So he was great. He always tried to help you, and then we got this new boss because they wanted to get rid of Dylan for whatever reason. I don't know, but Dylan was a great guy regardless, and we got a new boss, and he kind of just like he was like the boss that you don't want. Like he was just like mean. I asked him like 2 weeks in advance. This is one of the reasons I quit. I asked him 2 weeks in advance. I was like, "Hey, my sister's coming home from Florida because it's her birthday. We're gonna celebrate it." Or no, it wasn't her birthday, but she was coming home. We wanted to do something that day, and I was like, "Hey, so I just wonder if I could take off." And he was like, "No." I was like,
Nah.
"No." I was like, "I'm gonna take off regardless." Like I should didn't even have to ask. I could have just not showed up and said I was sick. Like at least I'm
Yeah.
telling you up front, Like because I've done that before. If Dylan's
Yeah.
listening, Dylan, I've
Yeah.
done that before.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know,
I mean, we've all done that before.
yeah,
That you're not
it's a
alone on
great
that
feeling.
track.
It's a great feeling. It's just like, oh yes, he
Yeah,
believes it.
I got over on him.
He so that boss
That's
Dylan.
crazy though that he was like, no.
Yeah,
like to
he
your
said no, your
family.
performance hasn't been that good, and my performance was just as good as everybody else's. So he was upset at everybody, and because he thought our office would be doing better because the one in Pennsylvania is doing better, but I don't know. We get sent into like areas like since the window's expensive, like people with and this isn't like to be rude to anybody, but if you have like a smaller house, you're not going to be buying $4,000 windows. That's
No.
not something you do, right? And like even in like a house that I'm in, like most people don't buy $4,000 windows, so it's a really hard like to find like pick and choose like which neighborhoods you go to because that's like a strategic thing we do. And sometimes we go to places where like four windows would cost the amount of the house, and it's like how are we supposed to
Yeah.
like be successful here? Like it's almost like we were set up to fail.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that makes total sense. So he gets mad and takes it out on you. I mean, what a good eye opener though for you, just as and I think this everybody in our lives creates some sort of value to us. It's either something we do want to be or not want to be.
Mhm.
So those experiences are always valuable, but having somebody like that in your life is like it's so toxic and it brings you down to the point where like now now that guy has presented a situation where you're like, dude, I don't want to enhance you as a person because like I don't like you now.
Yeah.
So you're yeah, my production may have been even let's just say that it was. My production may have been lower, but now it's definitely not going to get any higher. My morale is not going to get better
Exactly.
because I'm not going to see my family when they come into town. Like that's somebody in my opinion who just lacks the ability to ponder it from all angles. Not to
Hmm.
take something away from Gary there, but like they lack that ability because their judgment is skewed by these numbers that they're supposed arbitrary
Yeah,
numbers.
numbers. Exactly. It's all about
But
the numbers.
yeah, but you and I both know it's about relationships. That's how you get the most out of people. You
Exactly.
support them and in like if let me ask you this, if you would have been in that boss's shoes and somebody came to you with your request, I mean, how do you handle that?
I mean, you know, the rule in the office was, you know, is if you got to take off, that's fine. 2 weeks in advance, that's fine. So that's if I was the boss at the time and I had no background of, you know, because he was always kind of like stuck up and he was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run this place. Like he was just that guy. And so
Mm-hmm.
if it was me, I'd be like, yeah. And then and if the worker wasn't doing too good, you know, I would be like, and maybe you can stay back tomorrow and we can practice the script and go over some things because that's what my old boss Dylan would do. It's like, yeah, you're underperforming. Let's just stay back. You can stay back with me. We can practice stuff. You'll get paid. Don't worry. And you'll go again tomorrow.
Yeah, amazing. And that so something about this project and VaynerX in general that I've noticed is train the trainer is being used to the full extent
Hmm.
because whenever you train the people that are going to train your customer
Yep.
is like that is a winning recipe every single time because not only do you train the trainer but those people who are being trained then trust everybody up the chain
Yep.
the whole time. And then whenever the person at the I don't want to say the top, but the person who's done that work, the 6 years in Discord, will say,
Hmm.
and then you train somebody else, and then they train somebody, they're going to come back to Corso and say, dude, like, what do you think about this? And when you give them the thumbs up, it's like total validation of their whole entire process, and they continue their efforts even more. Is
Yeah.
that something that you've noticed as well?
Yeah. So believe it or not, or I mean, you could believe it. So when we got new moderators, like some of them don't know how to use bots, so you know, I just explained to them how to use it, and then every now and then they ask a question, and you know, they're working it well. They learned it, and it kind of rubs off with other people if they need help. Like they're able to answer the question because they asked me the question, and
Mhm.
I love that. And I'm not saying like I'm over them, of course not. But like we're all equal.
No.
The mod family is amazing. Like I like the interactions we have, the connections we have is just like it's almost unbreakable, really. Like everything's breakable, but it's pretty unbreakable.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, do you notice, that type of community everywhere?
No,
Is it pretty specific to this one?
I've never been in the community where even like the normal, like the average people were talking in general chat. And I might, that sounds rude, the average people, but like just like the normal person, you know, like
Yeah.
anybody talking in general chat. Like I've never been in a Discord server where like everybody's friendly and like everybody's like there for one another. Like they're like Discord, it doesn't have like a history of bad stuff, but like if you're in some bigger servers, like you know,
There's always toxicity.
stuff happens. You know.
Yeah, there's always toxic environments like within a community, but like I don't know how it's possible, but either it's snuffed out and we don't see it, or like it's just not happening.
Yeah.
And every
I
clubhouse that I go into, it's just not happening.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, to add on to that, like it's something like like us as moderators, like we just try to like if we kind of think of it because we're kind of not role models, but people like they listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we have that positive mindset, you know, it's gonna rub off on everybody because they're like, well, these guys, you know, maybe they're like some people think like we're like I'm a successful person. Like I'm just in college, you know, I'm trying to be as successful as possible, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm just a college student, right? And they look up to me. They look up to me. They're like, wow, this guy like he's doing good, and I'm like, you know, this is good because
Yeah.
it rubs off. Like me being nice to someone makes them want to be nice. Because when I was first mod, like I sometimes like I had like maybe like two like it kind of seemed like it rubbed off as like a rude remark, and that could really like affect everything because I'm a moderator, right?
Absolutely.
And right after that, I learned it's like it's not like even if someone's like mad, like they're like, oh, this project sucks. It's like, well, you know, if you think it sucks, that's totally that's your opinion. That's awesome. I'm glad you have that opinion. I'm glad you're able to share it because in some communities they would just ban you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we let those people stay unless they constantly troll. But
Of course. It's funny that you bring that up. I actually posted something on LinkedIn today. Or
mhm,
actually, no, it was like 2 days ago, and I got a comment on it, and it was one of my competitors. So my customer that I helped out, he commented on it and like gave me props. And I was like, dude, that was awesome. So I kept scrolling down because I was going to go and comment back to him. And there was another comment underneath of it from one of my competitors reaching out to my customer and asking him about, like, have you, I'm sure Ron has introduced you to XYZ, and um like, what do you think about this, because you should get this certification other than this 1 day training that Ron provided. And then the guy commented again directly to me this time and said, what do you know about XYZ? And I was like, I sat there for a second because it was exactly what you were talking about. Like, it was really toxic, and I could tell it was toxic. And I met it with the kindest. I feel like it was the kindest thing. I said, why don't we? I commented. I wasn't gonna hide. I was actually gonna hide it. I was gonna
right,
delete it and hide it. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave this up there because I hope somebody sees that he did that, because that was rude. And secondly, I want them to see what I said back to him, and not to like pat myself on the back,
mhm,
but for somebody out there that gets a negative comment, like, I met it like this. I said, we should jump on a Zoom call and then we should put it out here on LinkedIn so I can learn something from you, and then we can educate the customer as well. And I was just
that's
like,
awesome.
but that took so much effort to do.
And
And
now you've
and
done
I
it.
think the only reason I did it that way is because of the way that everybody handles those type of people in that Discord.
Yeah, it's really making me more of a positive person in general. Like I was never really like a negative person, but it always makes me think positively about literally everything. Like something bad happens, well, this could have happened, this could have happened, and I'm still alive, you know.
Yeah. How often does like perspective pigeon pump into your head, like when things like that happen?
Well, so Gary said a quote in general chat, and I have it engraved in my head. It's motivation is temporary, perspective is Uh, I don't have it engraved in my head, but
It's
let me
close
pull it
enough.
up real quick. Yeah, perspective is everything, pretty much, is what it was. But it said
Yeah.
something better than that.
And I bring up this meme that I saw a couple. I mean, I see it all the time, but I've seen it at certain points in my life where I needed to see it. And it's the kid in the wheelchair looking
Mhm.
at the kid walking, and the kid walking looking at the kid on the bike, and the kid on the bike looking at a guy in a car, and the guy in the car looking at a better car and a better house, and so on and so forth. I
Mhm.
mean, you get to a point where it's like, well, what else do I look for? And then you
Exactly.
just got to say, well, what if I was the guy with no legs and I was looking at the kid with legs in a wheelchair that can kind of walk? It's like there's always something prospectively worse off than you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I found the quote: "Motivation is temporary, perspective is forever." And even though I didn't remember the last part, like, perspective is everything. Like,
Absolutely.
if you're in a bad situation, think about how bad it could be for someone else. Like, if let's say someone in your family had a bad thing happen, they had to get surgery, and they might lose a leg. Like, it could have
Yeah.
been, they could have died. You know,
Yep.
and someone else couldn't have afforded that that health care that you had. So it's really, like, perspective is really everything.
And that's something that I've actually really enjoyed about the clubhouse rooms that we've been a part of, because it's a global community.
Yep.
And I'm learning so much about other cultures that I never would have understood outside of this community.
Like the
Like
Hawaii.
Hawaii,
Yeah.
India,
Yeah, well,
how
everything, but they were
I'm
talking
just
about
like,
Hawaii a lot. I was like, this
yeah.
is interesting. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. What did you find interesting about Hawaii?
I knew how friendly they were because I have a neighbor who's from Hawaii. I was gonna ask if they knew him, but I forgot. I forgot what his last name, my neighbor's last name, was, because we just call him Kavika. So
Okay.
I I like I knew, like, Hawaii was good, but they explained it like they know everybody, and that's like kind of like this Discord. Like, we know, like, if someone comes to my stream and like, oh, I'm this person in chat, I'm like, oh yeah, I know you. I've seen you plenty. What's up? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't see them, I'm just like, oh, well, what's up? You know, like, we're
Right.
all welcome in. Like, and if someone just joins the server just for a little bit and they end up leaving, like, we welcome them. We make them feel home, and if they don't want to stay, they don't want to stay. And I think that's the same kind of with people traveling to Hawaii, because that's what they were kind of saying. Like, if you come, like, everybody welcomes you. And he said you could stay at my house if you want. I have hammocks if there's more than one person who wants to come. Like,
Yeah.
very flexible with that.
Absolutely. And the kindness and the generosity and I call it the abundance mentality is
Mhm.
just so apparent in our community now. And I call it ours because I do feel so much a
It
part
is
of it.
ours.
And it's like, man, we're such a small community too. In the grand scheme of things, like even at 150,000 or whatever we were at one point, it's like that is still such a small portion. And also how we're all able to still be this positive after so many things in the past, pandemic,
Hmm.
the presidency election, like all this toxicity that has happened over the course of the last, let's say 4 years, 5 years, is like, man, we're still good.
Yeah.
We're still good. We still have a ton of people out there being positive and doing great things that are just so busy working and doing those things that, like, they're just not getting noticed, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's also like, that's not something that, like, you don't would like. And I love watching the news as much as I can, but like, a lot of times they kind of always put the bad side, like they never put the good side. And I feel like there's more good side than bad side. But when you focus on the bad side, nobody, like, people are like, wow, it's terrible, like, why is it so bad? And then there's like this whole positive side, and people don't know about it. and
Yeah.
and that's the crazy part, because the good side is always, it's overwhelming. And when it's not recognized, people kind of doubt it. And
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Is it's all like it's always been there, but it's just not been in my face.
yep.
And now that I'm in my face Discord and in my face Clubhouse with this community, like I'm not naive to think that this is how everybody is,
Sure.
because outside of it, it's still news world.
Hmm.
And I get that, but I'm able to come into those safe spaces express myself freely and be heard and
Yep.
uplifted too. Like even if I'm having something bad going on and you say that in, because we have all these break off Discord channels and servers and whatnot, and you go in there and you talk about what you talk about, and it's like you still get a great perspective from people that, hey man, I've been there, this is what I think, and this is what I've done to accomplish this, and they're all just uplifting.
Yep.
They're not, nobody's mean about it.
Mhm. Everybody's trying to help each other out. Like someone, and like I think someone was maybe 2 days ago. They had their kid, or it was probably 3 days ago, and like everybody was saying, "Congrats, that's amazing." And if someone says like, "Hey, I need help with this," like there's three people. Like you can message me or another staff member, and I'll be like, "You can message me." And like everybody's there to help each other. And when it's like on like the clubhouse, for example, like everybody like they're like, "Do you want to answer that?" I'm like, yeah. So like everybody's willing to answer it, and it's just whoever thinks they have the most experience with it gives them the honest answer or the answer that they know.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it. Yeah, it's all like really super positive and constructive, but it is very informative. Like I'm getting some of the best information and breadcrumbs to go down and follow to accomplish what I need to. Like it's not just about the positivity. Like that's one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But having the safe space of positivity and uplifting allows all of us to go down these rabbit trails of, hey, I got this idea, what do you guys think about it? And it's like totally feeding that curiosity. Is that something that you've noticed also?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who they have like they get inspired by Gary to make their own NFT project, and I don't know if you were in the Q&A that he had maybe like a week ago, where he had someone ask about like an ice cream NFT,
Yes.
and this idea springed from Gary, and everybody's having these ideas now, and they're running it by people, and he was able to run it by Gary, and Gary gave him that honest answer. And a lot of people have been giving people that honest answer that they think is true to their heart to them when they ask. And whether it's in general, there's a channel for the NFT talk now. Um, everybody's always given feedback, and I think that's important when you're making a project or doing, if you're starting a business. Like the feedback is important because you may think it's amazing, and someone like you might have like 10 people responding to the Discord server saying, I think you could do this a little better, this way, it appeals more, or this or that. And that feedback is what's going to drive your project over the other ones, or your business over the other ones, because people have experienced the businesses like yours, and they're kind of putting all the good parts together for you, and you just have to do it.
That's that last part. That last part's it. You have to do it. We'll give you all the tools, we'll give you the breadcrumbs, we'll give you the path to go down, but you got to execute. You have to do that part.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's sometimes what people miss the mark on is they have a great idea, they get the feedback, and then they stop.
Yep.
And I think sometimes people stop because the feedback isn't done the right way. And I don't know if this is like, and I'm not like saying that it's not done the right way in our Discord or anything. I'm just saying in the general world, like whenever you get feedback, sometimes somebody just is like, that sucks. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that wasn't constructive whatsoever. Like, why does it suck? What do you have another suggestion? Do you think that it should be done a different way? And in our community, nobody says it sucks unless they have a different way that they think that it would be done. And nobody would say that it sucks, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's important as well, because like if someone just says, yeah, I don't really like it, like, okay, well, how can I benefit from you saying that? And them saying it is good, because that means, well, maybe there's other people who don't like it. And in this community, like they give you that option, like, yeah, well, this isn't this isn't something that I'd be interested in, but if you did something along these lines, maybe that would appeal to more people like me. And I think that's the important part for sure.
I think a lot of people also are evolved enough to understand whatever they say to that person is going to affect them in a great way,
Yep.
because we're also introspective in the way that we receive feedback that we want to be gracious in our feedback to others, and we think out our response before we actually say it to be as constructive as possible. We don't just pop off.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the people who are getting feedback, they need to be a grateful gar. Like that feedback is like I said before, like that feedback could like make your project business a million times better. It's just a matter of actually taking it and getting the good feedback from this community. Like this community will give you the feedback you need, and you just got to execute. And you should, you'll
Yeah,
see
don't
a bright future.
don't get butthurt about it. Like
Yeah.
it's if you're putting it out there, know that you're going to get feedback and it's going to be as constructive as possible. And something that Gary said it a bunch of times, but and I know that I've heard it from a ton of other people, is just assume that the other person has positive intent.
Yep.
If you can enter conversations knowing that that person has positive intent behind whatever they're saying, even if they come across as like crass or whatever, like you have to assume that that person's being positive. And I just got done telling my LinkedIn story, and there is no way that what he was saying was positive.
Yep.
But I took it as him trying to help my customer. And once I tweaked that, I was able to say, okay, I can work with that part. I can work with that. And that's how I formulated that response. And I think the more often we enter into conversations with positive intent,
Yep.
the
It's
better
a
off.
perspective.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
And I think the same goes for questions. Like a lot of people, like nobody's scared to ask questions anymore. Like sometimes they'll be like, "This is a dumb question," but it's like, no, it's not a dumb question, And everybody gives them that positive reinforcement that, hey, we were all there. I didn't even know that answer either, So it's really the perspective of like knowing, like for anybody answering questions to people, helping people out. Like it's a perspective of like, you know, they don't know as much, and that's I used to be like that,
Yeah.
and that's just I think it holds a huge power in this community.
Oh, 100%. I love whenever I'm at the supermarket and I'm getting groceries, and you always, not always, but there'll be somebody with the trainee badge,
Yep.
and they'll like be constantly apologizing like it's their first day, and I always tell them, I said, listen, everybody has had a first day. There's no need to apologize. Like we've all had day one.
Mm-hmm.
Relax.
It's all good.
Just learn. That's all you can ask for.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So what do you have going on that you'd want somebody to check out? I know you got an NFT project out there. I saw your
Yes.
Butterfree that somebody bought too, and I'm jealous.
Yeah. So I have two NFT projects. One is called Cryptomon, and it is not Pokemon related for legal reasons. But basically, they're one of one pixelated characters that they look like Pokemon characters, but it's not related. Not related. And so that one, I kind of spring that idea because of CryptoPunks. And I was like, I feel like seeing, I don't want to say Pokemon, but just seeing anything when growing up, like imagine it being pixelated and like being an NFT, like that's amazing. Because a lot of people grew up on Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, like that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and you're like, well, NFTs are pixelated. So like, what if this was pixelated? So I had the idea to get my profile picture made with the Squirtle Squad with glasses, because that's what my logo was, and it said Corso on the glasses. But I was like, maybe I can get that pixelated and have him smoking a cigarette, because that's like a thing that CryptoPunks did.
Uh-huh.
And it looked amazing. I was like, oh, this is like, and a lot of people complimented me on it. I was like, dude, if everybody likes this, like, why not just, have a project with it and have normal
Double
ones?
down.
And exactly. And so I have a person I commissioned for it. He does an amazing job. He made all my Twitch emotes. He's on Fiverr. He does everything awesome. I always try to give him big tips because of how much work he puts in. Because it's not about the profits for me. It's about making people happy with the product, and that goes along with my other project, which is Bit Shields. I used to play this game when I was younger. It was called Growl Online. It was some mobile game. I guess it was kind of like a role playing game almost. but they had these shields, and you could make your own shields and upload them, and everybody can see them. I was like, I always liked that aspect. I was never good at it because I didn't have like an editing software. I just used Paint on my laptop at the time.
Yeah.
So like I never really made a good design, but there was always so many people with like cool designs that they made. So I kind of took that idea and brought it into the NFT world, where like I can make shields with cool designs that people might like, and whether they use it for, because like when I look at an NFT, I kind of picture it like if I'm buying it, I'm like, can I use this as my profile picture? Because if I can, like I'm buying it, and if it's worth the price, and if it's not, if I don't, if there's like flip value, like I'm not a big flipper, but like in the NFT world, I love holding on to things like all that Pokemon stuff. Like there's like there's two sealed Squirtle things. Yeah, you can see it now, right there. So like those are like, I lost my train of thought because I just distracted myself. Those are like things that I'd invest in, and
yeah, you said about profile picture or
yeah. So if I could see it as myself using it as a profile picture, I'm in on it. And if it's something like that, where it's more of a collectible rather than like a profile picture type thing, I'm in on it, because I saw that one in like Best Buy, and I was like, it's Squirtle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it. It's a collectible, and so I bought it, and every time I see something Squirtle, I'm like, how much is this? Okay, it's just what I do.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's pop culture, and I mean, people collect everything. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you connect with something, it's just, I mean, that's your thing now.
Yep.
So it's, I mean, God, there's so many things that people collect that I'm baffled by, like stamps. People collect stamps, and they have books, and it's a whole industry of collecting stamps. So like the fact that people would even think that we as human beings wouldn't want to, I mean, we've been collecting things since we were a thing. I mean, King Tut is buried with all of his treasures. There's reasons why all of these highfalutin people are buried with all of their stuff, because that's what we like to do. We're like hoarders by nature for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And once we connect with something, it just becomes what we like. And then we're drawn to those things. And to think that the NFT space wouldn't be the same is just I guess an uneducated assumption.
Yeah, I agree with that, because like I mean, I have a friend who like he's like, yeah, I could see there's collectibles, but he's not someone who collects things, so it's not really something for him, and that makes sense. Or I mean, it could still be something for him. He could still make a ton of money. Like this market is so new. Like if he wanted to make money, like the market's open for him. But I think it's literally it's just a collectible. Like I used to collect rocks, and I could probably do it digitally now. Like I'm sure there's a rock project out there that I could do the same thing.
Did you see the rock project on the NFT community?
I guess there is. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
they got the googly eyes on it too.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I saw them. They were pretty cool. Growing up, we my aunt, she would paint rocks, and I'm still infatuated with the slime writing, like if you write and then it's like dripping, like Nickelodeon drip. Oh,
like the goo.
Like if you write something in that, I'm all about it. Like I will collect that. I'll take it. I love that stuff. But like I said, once you get attached to something, that stuff just becomes yours. Like that's your thing. So Squirtle is your thing, and I'm glad that you shared that with us.
Yeah, it's definitely I have so many Squirtle cards. I have one coming in the mail soon. Someone in the community, he was sending me a French first edition base set Squirtle.
Oh, dude, how cool!
Yeah, and I have a base set Squirtle, like Shadow. I don't know if you know like the difference between shadowless and shadowed, but basically the shadowed was a more printed base set, and then the shadowless was the base set that wasn't overprinted. So one's worth more than the other for that reason. But
yeah.
So like I have a whole bunch of Squirtles in a tin back there, just like a stack of Squirtles, and like my goal is just to you know, see how many I could get.
Uh-huh.
Really, at the end of the day, if I can get 2,000 Squirtle cards, you know, I mean, I don't know where I'm going to put them, but I'm
Yeah.
going to have them.
But that brings you so much joy to
Yeah,
your neighbor. They'd be like, just throw those away.
exactly.
You know, so it's like whenever somebody says which character in this NFT project is going to be better than the other, the eye is in it's in the beholder.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
It's
tell
like,
people.
go ahead.
When I tell people, because they ask me, it's like, hey, Corso, I had a question. I wanted to get a very rare. Like, which one do you think is the best? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really don't. Like, I personally haven't even looked at them because it's not something like I've told people, like, find one that you think has value to you, because that's what it's about. Like, yeah, there might be one that you can, like, that might be worth a crap ton more, but those are all gone. Like, I think it's kind of, I think it's safe to say most of those, like the patient panda's gone, the astronaut, like those are all like the top ones. So like now, like you find something that you value, and that's what you go with, because that's the same with collectibles, like you were saying. I find value in Squirtles. There's a lot of collectors that like post Varun in the Discord. He's like, I asked him, I was like, "Do you have any Squirtles?" He's like, "No, I don't find value in a Squirtle." It's like,
Yeah,
well, it's exactly, you know, he
exactly.
finds value in other things, and that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's why I'm all about the story. I'm always about like, why did you pick that character? Like, why do you like the whole reason why I asked you, why do you like Squirrel? Like, why is there a that in your pocket or in your house? Why do you, the story behind things means that like it was a thought out thing that you've done. And
Exactly.
now it means more to you because of the story behind it, you know? And if I can sort of my shtick here at Stars Podcast is like I love highlighting stories. I love listening to stories. I love talking to people and hearing their perspective. It's the whole reason why I spend way too much time on Clubhouse, because I love listening to people talk. I do. I between Clubhouse and podcasts, that's like 90% of my listening time during the day.
Yeah, I used to like on weekends back when I was in high school. Like, I still want to try to watch as many podcasts as possible, but I would just like, if I thought the person was interesting, I'd go on Joe Rogan's podcast. If I thought the person was interesting, I'd watch the video. And they're like 3-4 hour podcasts, and it's just like you learn so much from them. And I just find a lot of value in any podcast, really, as long as
Yeah.
it's not like a, I don't know. Most podcasts you can find a lot of value.
So I'll just share with you since you asked, you didn't ask. The podcast that I listen to the most, Hidden Brain. Have you ever listened to it?
Never heard of it.
Oh my God. So Hidden Brain, they go through sort of and if you notice, like my logo is a head inside of a head, and then there's a brain, because I always think that there's multiple personalities that live within us. Like there's certain things that this guy comes out at this time, but this guy comes out at another time. And you meet, whenever somebody says I wear different hats, how you talk in front of your grandma is not how you talk in front of your mom, is not how you talk in front of, your little cousin. So like we have different personalities given certain circumstances. And I think that rings true in everyday conversation. And in Hidden Brain, they sort of do deeper dives into why. I mean, certain brain activity and the whole bit. And I just find that stuff fascinating.
That is, yeah. The guy I liked watching the most was Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
But like the knowledge of just like space that he has, it's just
Mhm.
very intriguing, because it's like I don't want to be an astronomer or anything like that, but like learning about that stuff is great. And then when Elon Musk talked about the Neuralink, like that stuff is fascinating, and
That is
it's
fascinating.
so cool.
Yeah. Whenever he was talking Neuralink, I sort of was like, what?
Yeah, I was like,
Download our consciousness?
I was
What?
like, I was like, how, like, this is something I'm glad someone's doing it, you know,
Yeah.
but I didn't think someone would be doing it. I didn't even think of it. I didn't think that was
Uh-huh.
a possibility, and like everybody's doing it.
It's
Or,
amazing to me. Like as soon as you hear something, like it just become certain things that you hear just become this, it's an earworm where you'll hear twinges of it on different avenues of your life, and you're like, that's going to happen.
Mhm.
Like something like that's going to happen. And that little, like the Neuralink, it's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
people were starting to dive deeper into it because they listen to the Joe Rogan podcast and they listen to Elon Musk. And then that creates curiosity. And then that curiosity inspires all types of different things, and different projects. So I can appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, I appreciate you coming on the show, my man. Thank you so much, being gracious with your time. If anybody wants to find you, where can they find you at?
My Twitter is Corso52 because Corso 5 was taken. Whoever has that, give it to me. My Instagram's _ Nick Corso, and Twitch is Corso 5. That's where you'll find me. Discord, I'm in the Veefriends Discord. You'll see me.
Okay. One last question, and I forgot to ask.
That's
What
fine.
are you gonna do for content creation, or just creating some content around the Gift Goat? Do you have any ideas?
So I think what I might do is stream the openings. Whether that's I know I'm going to stream it on Twitch, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to edit it, and I'll put it on YouTube. I'll make a short clip for it on my Instagram. I don't post too much on Instagram, but there will be a picture Thursday night or Friday after Six Flags. I'm going to incorporate some not gift goats. I probably will put a gift goat in there, but I'm going to incorporate some little Easter eggs or just some Veefriends around with the picture, because I thought that's something,
That would be cool.
I think that would be cool. Yeah. So
Are you
legendary lemur is definitely
are you going to create an account specific for the Gift Goat, or are you just going to put it on what you have going on now?
I think I'm just gonna put it on what I have now.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
I don't really make any content on my YouTube. I used to speed run in Rocket League. They had like workshop maps that you could speed run, and I did a little bit of Minecraft, but that's hard. So I have those uploaded on there, and that's pretty much it. Like I don't upload too much on YouTube. I just kind of upload what I think I'd watch.
For sure. So. That's what you're all about. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate your time, brother. Hey guys, as always, enjoy the journey. Take care. Have a good day.
So the journey has begun. If you guys listening to our content today had any kind of value, or you were moved in any way, please feel free to subscribe, pass it on, let everybody know that these two guys are the truth. They're out here just trying to do good things to make good people. Thanks.